Thank you everyone for joining. We're really excited this week. I had met with Jim O'Neill earlier this week, and we think that there's some great information with both the app and his company and kind of what they're doing in terms of what's going on with COVID and adapting and kind of getting used to what's going on, but also gearing up to welcome back tourists. And also another great aspect of this app, and we talk about it a lot, is it can be used for locals as well. So Jim will talk a little bit about kind of where the app is going and how it all started. And I think that you'll see some great marketing information, some information that I normally try and relay to people in terms of sponsors, but also information on how to get to your audiences, which I'll let him elaborate on a little bit. And then also we had talked about before taking these bus tours and how to adapt to COVID and social distancing guidelines, and making people, giving them the option to take the bus tour eventually, but also giving them the option to do, walking or biking tours as well for social distancing protocols, and just giving them the option to be more comfortable. So here's Jim O'Neill. I'm going to actually just let him kind of take it away and elaborate. And again, we'll go over the Q&A after he's done. And but throughout, feel free to put the questions in the Q&A. And if there's any that need to be addressed immediately, I will ask them throughout as well. So go ahead, Jim.
All right. Thanks, Genevieve. And hello to everybody. Greetings. I don't know if you can see me in the background. That's right across from my house in Galveston. It's our lovely Jimmy's on the Pier at 90th in Galveston. Yeah, so about a year ago, my wife got kind of sick of her job. So my main function is I've got a software company based in Germany. So I have kind of a unique perspective on the whole OnCell thing because I come from a software background. So I can work from anywhere. Yeah, why not work at the beach and look at this all the time? So we decided to launch a tour company, and I'll share my screen here so you can see a little bit about our branding and what we're doing. So, I guess I have to actually push the share button. Okay. So if you can see that, that's one of our tour buses, where it's called the Galveston Experience Company. And so when we launched this, it was really a lot of different things all rolled up into one. As you can see on the bus, we do city tours. On the back, you can see we do the ghost bus tours. And Radio Galveston we launched a streaming radio station where we use that actually as another promotional vehicle. Galveston, as it turns out, even though it's only 60 miles from Houston, which is a city of like 5 or 6 million people, it didn't have its own local radio station. So I have a background in that from many, many years ago. And so I thought, gee, why not launch a streaming station to kind of promote everything that we do? And as you can see in the background, we also opened up a store. So we've got a retail location from which we launch the tours. And we've got podcasts that are associated with this. And so everything was going along wonderfully until March 18th, when the city marshal came in and said, in his Texas accent, "We're shutting you down, boys." So I thought, okay, now what are we going to do? I mean, I'm still working my software business, but the cash flow just stopped at this point with the Galveston Experience Company. They pretty much shut down the beach and everything, and so there really wasn't a lot going on the island. And I'd considered OnCell, and actually at the very beginning of this, I thought, at some point we'd really like to do take our tours and put them online, or put them on an app. And so I had done a review of a number of different vendors probably a year ago when we first were looking at it, but then we got so kind of caught up in the business that I decided, well, we'll just put this on the back burner and take a look at it again at some point in the future. So again, with the all the reviews I'd done, once we got shut down, I said, well, I guess this is somebody's way of telling me it's time to look at the app again. So I went back and kind of refreshed myself on all of the different platforms that we looked at, and I thought that OnCell really met all of the requirements that we had. Where we saw a gap in the market was if you search Galveston, you'll come and find Galveston.com. They're the 500-pound gorilla on the island. They've been doing it forever. They're the official voice of the visitor center and the tourism convention visitor center. And however, their app, if you try and open it on your mobile phone, it's really not very mobile friendly. There's so much on there, and it's so hard to navigate. So I thought using the OnCell platform, we could come up with something that really was easy to use and quickly get you what you need. So for example, and we'll just hit a couple of these things right here, the beaches. Um, right now, at this time of year, there's a lot of seaweed. So people are asking the question, what's the story on the seaweed? But really everything you want to know, the map, the beaches, what do all the different colored flags mean, and all of this. And then of course, things to do. And our intention now is to make this is an app not just for visitors, because Galveston has 7.4 million visitors per year, but also for locals. On Facebook, there's a group called Galveston Talk, and I'm constantly amazed by how unaware the local people are of what's happening in their own town. So the ghost bus tours are a big part of our business. If you saw on the bus, they're in the back. We've got this cool little ghost bus tour logo. And so we've got a section for Haunted Galveston. And I'll get into a new feature that really uses some of the cool OnCell tour features in just a second that we're going to put on that page. Unfortunately, it's not ready to show today, but I think anybody who's been on previous OnCell calls are somewhat aware of the different app-based tours that you can do, and so we're going to take advantage of some of those. But yeah, so when I also love the statistics, I can see, not surprisingly, that when people tours are where most of our revenue is. There's the lovely sugar skull here on the back of our bus. So obviously, by controlling the app, we are able to push our content to the top. So when you go to our tours page, which is featured prominently at the bottom, you'll see the private bus tours, our historic tours, the ghost bus tour, and then we actually when you click this, it takes you right to our booking platform. So in real time, someone can go on there and say, hey, I want to book the 7:00 tour tonight, whatever. And this actually is faster than our website. So we always encourage people to use the app because our website has got a little more physical overhead, and so it takes a bit more. So one of the strategies we're using are free tours. And right now we have 3. At the end of the year, we'll probably have at least 6 free tours. The idea is to kind of give somebody just a little bit of a taste. So in Galveston in 2008, when the hurricane hit, it took down all the piers and a lot of the trees. And so they commissioned a few sculptors to come in and do these tree carving tours. So here, I won't play the audio, but we have a little bit of an introduction here. And this shows you, if you want to do it in person, you just click on here, it'll take you right to the start. Or for people who are social distancing, you can just do the app. So this actually looks better on the phone because here on the web, it's kind of large. But this shows you some of the tree carving tours. And so this is the totem pole. It tells you where it's at, who's the artist that created it. Another tree carving of all of these birds. I won't go through the whole tour. You kind of get the idea, but it allows you just to use the simple tour features, and we will, and again, this is all brand new. We didn't start with OnCell until March. So in just the past couple of months, we put this together, and we'll make all of these tours available for sponsorship. And we're actually just in the process of hiring somebody now to go through and solicit sponsors for all of the high level categories. So thanks to the OnCell statistics, I can go through and see that, not surprisingly, the top level buttons are where most people go. And so we'll get a surf company to sponsor the beaches, things to do. I think I've already got a sponsor under outdoor activities. No, I don't know. There's sponsors in here somewhere. I think it's under rentals. But so we've just begun this, and we've got some sponsors at different levels. But yeah, so this is kind of the idea about the app itself. To get to the next thing we're going to do, which I think is really cool, and it uses the I call it the keypad, a part of it. We call it the PIN number, whatever. Is given social distancing now, there are some people that are still a bit hesitant to get on a bus like this and be with other people. That being said, we're finding our private tours are picking up. We'll get tour companies or other guests that want to be with all their friends, and we'll be booking tours of 10, 15, 20 people. Will take the whole bus, more so than a year ago when it would just be 3, 4, 5, 6 groups on the bus. So it's just kind of interesting to see how the booking profile has changed. But we realize that there are a lot of people that would like to do it just on the app. So taking all of the content, so a little bit more about the ghost tour, and you'll see how this all fits in. I don't know where everyone sits on the I believe in ghosts, I don't believe in ghosts, but my sister actually had a very wild experience at the Galveston Hotel. And she, at 3 a.m, felt somebody brush by her and sit down in bed next to her. And she's got this fuzzy orb video. So she launched off on this ghost hunter craze. And she interviewed like 100 different people. So we've got a podcast, is how this all started, the Galveston Ghost Podcast. So we repurposed that content for the bus. So on the bus, you've got an audio video screen, and the people tell their stories, what they saw, what happened to them in their own voice, in their own words. So now we're going to take that same content and repurpose it on the app, where we have a 6-mile course laid out, and it's going to be called the Galveston Ghost Hunt. And taking the same, and I wish I had something to show you. It's very, very rough right now, but again, similar to the other tours that you've seen. It will allow people to, they come into our store. It all starts at our store. We have a green screen where we take a souvenir picture at the beginning, and then off they go on the tour. They can choose if they're going to walk it, ride it. We're just a 1-2-minute walk away from a bike rental place, so they can rent a bike or a scooter or whatever. And so that's already built into the app, and we're actually getting revenue from them, because it's 6 miles is probably a little bit too long to walk, especially in the heat of Galveston. So driving is not great because parking is a challenge on the island. Parking is very difficult. So we think most people are going to rent a bike, rent a Surrey, an e-scooter, something like this. So we've already got a sponsorship of our neighbor, just an extremely short walk from us. And so if they, at the beginning of the tour, we ask, do you want to do a walking, riding in your car, or rent a bike, or whatever. They click on that. So immediately at the beginning, the first page, you get options of how you want to conduct the tour, and then it goes down that appropriate path. So as I said, you buy the tour, we unlock it in the store, and then off they go. And using the location-based features, and if you've seen any of the other types of tours, you can ask a question and earn on the app. It's called the badge. Because it's a ghost tour, you're actually going to be earning ghosts. So we're having an artist put together about a dozen little cute ghost figures. And when you've earned all your ghosts, you're back at the end of the tour, ends back at our place. And you get a special souvenir that shows that you've conquered the ghost tour. And we have a little something else that anybody who completes it. And then we'll do monthly contests, who did it the fastest, who posted it most to social media, and things like this. And so in marketing all of this, we've got some interesting strategies. One of them is with the hotels. We have a hotel program, and hotels will be listed free on the app. And hotels and restaurants have really interesting challenges. So for example, right next to us, there's a DoubleTree hotel, but all of these national chain hotels, they use, so this DoubleTree is part of Hilton, so they don't have their own website. It's, Hilton.com/DoubleTree/Galveston, whatever. So they really don't have any control over this. So we've been very successful in getting these table tents into the rooms, because with the OnCell ability to create a page that can have a QR code, the hotel now has a way to kind of have their own web page that they can give to their guests, whether they have special rules now with COVID, or they are doing a special happy hour, or what's their music entertainment. These are things they can't get on their website because their website's controlled by Hilton. But with OnCell, we can put up a page that shows, this weekend, here's the music schedule at the DoubleTree, whatever. So our agreement with the hotel, so there's 7.4 million visitors to Galveston. Ultimately, I'd love to see this in every single hotel. So people come in, they scan the QR code that takes it to our website, and then they can download the app from there. Or the same thing with stickers. Another interesting for restaurants, I was contacted by a restaurant the other week, and he said he was going through 700 menus a week because of they're doing the printed menus. And so for him, it was a very nice option to have a page that you create a QR code for, and then they just have their own table tent that says scan here for the menu, and it brings up their page, and he can save on printing all of those things. So that's kind of the app. I wanted to show you. For a landing page for the app, we've branded it as galveston.vip. Not just very important person, but with the app now you're a very informed person. There's a lovely picture of the Pleasure Pier and the harbor, the mosquito fleet. And so this is the landing page for people who are interested in getting the app. On this page, there's the link to the app stores for Apple and Google Play, or if they just want to open the web app. And we've produced a nice little video. I'll let you play that on your own if you're interested. That shows all of the features. Here's demonstrating the tree carving tour. And of course, the app lets you eat, drink, and play like an islander. And these are just some of the things that we find are very popular. We've got free tours, family-friendly things to do, dog-friendly locations is one of the real popular pages that we have. And then for the other side of things, for the people who pay the bills, for the companies to get listed, we have another video similar to the first, but really it approaches how we market this to the business and all of the things that we do. So this, I think, will be interesting to people who want to know, how do we make money with all of this? Now, of course, we're in a special situation because we have a lot of different things that we can bring to bear for each customer. For example, in our store, this is also kind of like a little visitor center. We've got all of the brochures and everything else in there. And so we do a free business exchange. If someone will put our stickers or table tents in their facility, we'll put their brochures and business cards in our visitor center. We also have a calendar that we use. It's on the app. It's also right here. And we just use a simple Google Calendar. And so we put in events for our customers. And on the other guys in town, the Galveston.com people, it's real political to be listed in their calendar. And it's really, you got to spend money and all this kind of thing. But for us, if you promote us, we'll promote your events. 10 years ago, I started a nonprofit called starskaters.org. We teach disabled kids how to ice skate. And so I have a big soft spot for nonprofits. And so if someone is involved in a nonprofit, we'll donate tours or other things to the nonprofit. And of course, we're right on the seawall. We're right on the ocean at 15th Street. So we have a high traffic location. And using some of the other elements of the OnCell platform, the app will provide them a map listing. We haven't, again, we're still pretty new on this, but the intention is that every page, if it's the bar page, the barbecue restaurant page, whatever, each one of those will have an app. So when you get to the landing page for, say, barbecue restaurant, now I'll be able to see where's the closest one to me, as well as links to the information about the restaurants. We talked about QR codes, category listings, the top categories, all available for sponsorship. I love the geotag alerts. Actually, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we're going to use that. I'm talking with the Galveston Historic Foundation, and we're going to put a free tour up. And again, this will be sponsored by somebody, maybe a big real estate company or insurance company, whatever. But there's a 5-block area of downtown Galveston that's very historic. We call it the Strand. And each one of these buildings is, most of them are from the 1800s. The newer ones are still well over 100 years old. And it occurred to me, I was walking down the Strand one day, I said, I would love to know what's the deal on this building. I mean, there's plaques on a few of them, but not on all of them. So using OnCell, we are going to put together a tour. One thing that I was able to confirm, that when you're in a special folder, I guess you could call it, you can have location alerts that are specific to that tour. And so if you're just in the main app, as you walk down the Strand, you won't be getting alerts. But if you enter through the First National Bank Galveston tour portal link, whatever, as you go building to building, you'll get an alert that tells you all about that building, and using all the other things about the island. The rest of this probably isn't pertinent to other companies, but these are just other ways that we generate. There are other features that can be available at the different levels of sponsorship, and what's probably not available to anybody else is the broadcast part of it. But we've integrated this with a CMS system. And so when somebody fills this out, it gets right into the system and off we go. So that's probably everything. We're probably ready to hear from somebody else right now. So I'm happy to take any questions now or later, whatever you think.
Yeah, there was one question just on the sponsorships and how you have them integrated into the tours. That could also be maybe a technical question for Josh, depending on the platform people are on, versus OnCell versus My Tours. But how exactly have you been integrating them into have you been integrating them into the tours, or just the app itself on individual pages?
Yeah, so it really, I don't have it easily accessible here, but I've got kind of every one of these levels that you see. So if you just want to have a link, it's like $50 a month. And then as they spend more money, and we price this very aggressively compared to our competitor there. So you can be on the bus. So if you're at the top level, so on our introductory offer, you get all of the features of all of this for like $250 a month, which includes being on the bus, being on the app. For a little bit more, then you can buy sponsorship on particular pages, like if you want to be the featured barbecue restaurant or whatever. So, obviously there's a lot of flexibility in the OnCell platform. It's so easy to go. In fact, I got to tell you this, the guy with the Italian restaurant with the QR code, he called me up and he said, hey, what's the deal with these QR codes, and how do I do this? Literally, while I was on the phone with him, I went over to his website, took a couple of screenshots, made a little page, linked the page to Italian restaurants, highlighted his name on there, and then linked it to his page and updated the app. So I said, are you on the app? I said, well, download the app. I said, I'll show you exactly how this works. And he did, and surprise, surprise, he already had a QR code. So, I mean, one of the things, again, this goes back to the software, side of me, is that I was very impressed with just the OnCell platform and how easy it is to use. I'm an older guy, but, I was even able to, at one point I said, I'm not learning any new software anymore. And then hopefully OnCell will be my last one. But yeah, it was super easy to use, and the fact that you can update it so quick, I'm a big fan.
And just to kind of touch on that too, because I know we have some people using our My Tours builder as well. So sponsorships in there, in that builder would be similar in the sense that, on your specific stop page, you could put that image of their, whatever makes sense for them, a link out to their website, just as with OnCell, and then also the ability for the nested stops. You could actually have kind of a nested stop within your normal tour stop page that kind of highlights that sponsor of that particular tour or that particular stop.
And then there's another question, just Jim, on how you use those location alerts, and then did you use them? And I think you said you did use the location alert specifically for the one tour of the Strand. I think you were talking.
So the location alerts, and I was just looking at Kivas's question, how they're integrated with the tours. What I do is they have a banner at the top. If he was technically wondering, so this tour, we create a free tour, and even a bit more about that. So because we have our full-blown tours, Galveston, of course, has been hit by many hurricanes. We are actually finishing up a hurricane tour for the bus, but also I'm a big believer in like free sample and just to drive usage. So we're going to do probably in 2 weeks, if you check back on our app, you'll see a free, go to the tours button, you'll see a free hurricane tour. And it basically will give you just kind of the high level details. And then on that last page, it'll say, if you want to take the tour in person, click here, it takes you right to it. So, so we'll make money sponsoring the free hurricane tour brought to you by like an insurance company or something like this. And then at the end, soliciting live tours. Back to the location alerts. So if you're on a premium package, in $250 a month for us, you'll get a location alert and you'll be on the map. So for example, where I live, right behind me is a go-kart place. And yeah, I love how you can set the radius very small or very large. And so if you're driving down the seawall, you'll get, because they're actually a bit off the beaten path. If you're within 2 blocks, you'll actually get a locational alert that the go-kart place is just over here. Obviously, location alerts are something you have to be careful with. You don't want to be alerting people every step of the way. But in strategic areas, I think it makes a lot of sense. And also then to use the location feature as far as earning badges. And I think probably the best way to implement it is the way we mentioned on a specific tour, where the location alert's not a general alert, but you only get that alert when you're in a certain area. So in other words, I want to get alert. I'm on a bike tour, and I want to get alerted where scenic routes are, where I stop for water, whatever. Once you're in that container folder or whatever, then you get the alerts. Whereas if I'm driving the same bike tour and I'm not in the tour, I won't get the alerts.
Okay. Yeah, and I like how you use the alerts, and I like how me and you'd also had the conversation about push notifications, and I also like that you're pretty aware to not overwhelm your users with so much on their phone popping up, and that's also a good thing to kind of keep track of. Catherine also had a question, which will kind of be one for you and then one for Josh, probably on more of the technical side, but any kind of like data mining that you can do about your visitor profiles, most popular sites and tours, etc.
So I'm not aware of how much I know about the users other than what platform they're on and what page they're accessing. Maybe there's something, and again, I'm pretty new on this, so maybe there's something that OnCell can share about this. But it's very easy to find is where they're going. It would be nice if you could kind of figure out a path. But in the end, really, the most important statistic is how many times is each page been used. And then, for example, if I've got a customer that's not getting a lot of usage, there's ways that I can manipulate it a little bit to put him in other higher traffic areas to kind of lead the people down the path to his business. For example, I've got the guy that does the bike rentals and Surrey rentals. He was getting okay traffic, but he really wanted to pump it up a notch. So I put him up. When you go to the activity rentals page, I think it is, I put his banner up at the top, and then immediately his page views went quadrupled because of that. So maybe there's some other stats I don't know.
Yeah, and then there's the other question on how you liked the mapping function on OnCell for the location alerts and the routing and things like that.
It took me, again, I had to take a while to understand. Like when I made some mistakes when I was first doing the tree carving tour, but once I understand, actually the turtles, there's another one on there called the Turtles About Town tour, and I realized that the only thing that was a question for me is I didn't realize each map is its own separate entity. Mm-hmm. Right. So in other words, on the Turtles Around Town tour, when you go to the first page, it has all the locations. But then when I go to the specific location of a turtle, art turtle, I only put that turtle on there. right? So um, I don't know. Maybe there's a way for me to take that first page map and copy all those locations to the one location map, and then zoom it to that turtle location. I mean, I don't know if that's possible. But as far as ease of use and all of this, I mean, it just took me a little while to kind of get it straight as how it all fits together. But it's one of my favorite features. And also, I will say this, that where we haven't done a lot yet is the main map on our page, but that gets a lot of use. And so, again, as we get more sponsors, if you're a top level sponsor, you'll be able to be on that page, so that when people are just on the main landing page for the app, they can say, oh, okay, here's where I am, and oh, there's a barbecue restaurant just 2 blocks away.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I guess there was one question I had just for the marketing. You had said that when we had been talking, that locals had actually spoken to you and they had said that they really liked the app. Was it only those Facebook groups to kind of like gear up that awareness for it just with the locals?
So I'm working through the Chamber of Commerce and the Convention and Visitors Bureau. So Galveston's a pretty small place. The island's it's not that long. The native population's only like 57,000 people, although about 80,000 people come onto the island to work every day. And so you've got the people that live there that are still a bit confused where everything is. Then you've got the people who come there to work every day that really aren't that aware. They just kind of come in and out and would like to know where things are. And then you've got the 7 million tourists that come in that don't have any idea where anything is. So with the Convention and Visitors Bureau, we're working on marketing programs through them. And then for the locals, the Chamber of Commerce, we offered every chamber member a free 1 category upgrade. So in other words, the free listing everybody gets, because you're a chamber member, you get the free listing plus the next one. And the chamber then, of course, is promoting that like crazy. So, yeah, it's really becoming, it's taken on a life of its own, let's say.
Well, that's good. And yeah, I mean, Chamber of Commerce, that's got to be a great person to have on your side for like the marketing and raising awareness. But it's also nice because you guys do have the sponsors in there, and it really is more of that community-based app versus just, you don't only have your tours, you have like the things you can do and the dog-friendly places. And that's what really makes it something that people can have on their phone and they can use every day versus, just doing that tour one time. And it also helps them coming back to the app to kind of see what new content is there and how it's being updated. So that's
and back to marketing. One thing that has worked very well is targeted Facebook ads. And Facebook, if you've not done it, is so cheap, it's ridiculous. For $100, we had like 50 or 60,000 impressions. And we will test different types of ads, and I've had click-through rates as high as 30%, whereas usually a click-through rate is like 3-5%, something like that. So it's always interesting to kind of test an ad, throw $100 there, test this, and when we usually start running on a weekend, and it's just literally like turning the traffic faucet on and off. And the nice thing about it is, so I mentioned that when we first started, we used Galveston.com, and for $300 a month, they would sell us a little banner advertising that would rotate across the site. And in tracking it, I got like almost nothing out of it, almost nothing. So now for that same $300, I can promote the app. And because when you go to the app, the tours, people don't really connect the fact that it's my app and it's also my tours. And we'll put anybody's tours on there, but obviously ours are featured. So I'm really getting double duty. I'm getting 2 bangs for the same buck. I've got people download the app, and then they want to go look at tours, and they come on our tours. And so I can see the direct traffic, not just the statistics of how many people are using the app, but whenever I promote the app, more people use it, more people hit tours, our tours get busier. So it's really a very efficient way to market the app.
Yeah. And I've heard some people have some good luck with Facebook ads, and there's also a lot of some people using Instagram as well that just in general for accounts. But Facebook is a good one if you're looking for something to do, like you said, that's a little bit cheaper, but also that will get you a lot of those impressions at least, and kind of just some traffic to test it out and see how many people are using it or buying tours.
And also the fact that you can target the term that they're either liking or searching for Galveston. So
Right.
everybody that is served up that ad, and the ad also is served up on Instagram, is somebody who's already expressed an interest in Galveston. I think that's why the click-through rate is so crazy high.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's literally the best $100 I've ever spent.
Right. Especially now with, I know that some people are planning trips for the future. So
Yep.
now is the time where everyone's kind of online, figuring out when everything opens back up or when it's safe to go other places, where they're going to go and how they're going to plan that trip. And your app also has some great like trip planning information on things to go, so you can like plan out your days or plan out your week, and that's another great aspect of it as well. So I'm not seeing any other questions come through. Feel free to keep putting those in the chat or the Q&A. Again, this is all recorded, so we are going to put it on our YouTube. And thank you, Jim, so much for coming on and taking some time out of your day just to share with us your vast knowledge and some really helpful marketing tips. And I'm really excited to see how the app is going to grow and kind of those sponsors getting added in. It's really great.
And if anybody needs a job, come on, move to the beach. And we are looking for somebody to be our app ambassador.
An app ambassador. Ooh, don't tempt me. I do love warmer weather than Rochester.
Here's the view right here.
No, I love OnCell too much. Okay, so everyone, feel free to email us with any questions. You have quite the fan base now. Everyone wants me to tell you that how amazing you are. So it looks like people really enjoyed the information, and I think that it's really been helpful, and it looked like it helped a few people figure out kind of how to create their tours, and especially with those location alerts. So all right, I will put this up on YouTube, and thanks again, Jim, so much, and have a good one.
All right, thanks.